Alright guys, today we're having a look at one of the most anticipated entries in the Series 2 for Micro Galaxy Squadron, the Republic LAAT. The gunship has always been a favorite of mine. And this one I can already tell is one of the better versions of the gunship that you can get. Real quick, you can see I've already loaded a couple guys in here to demonstrate what you can do with extra figures. We'll do a quick turnaround. This is a significantly darker coloring than most gunships have had. Most of them are like sort of like a white, and then maybe they'll have like a wash over them that makes them a little brown. This is actually like a brownish plastic that gives it a darker look, more of a brown. And I think that fits the Geonosis atmosphere that they're portraying this gunship in on all the art. It's clearly meant to be one of the ones on Geonosis in Attack of the Clones. First up, you got the little ball turrets up front, which can actually face forward. One of mine is a little wonky, but it's not too bad. I can just boil it, and that'll fix that. But the guns will actually face forward. They can move all the way out to the side, up, down, all that good stuff. And then over here we have the bubble turrets. They're a little big, and they're kind of limited in what they can do. They can really just move side to side. But the trade-off is definitely worth the extra feature you get. The bubble turrets being big means you can actually fit soldiers in your bubble turrets. I have a scout trooper in there right now because I'm running out of clones. I only bought so many battle packs. But you get his little legs around the controls there, and he sits pretty good. And he doesn't wobble. He sits in there nice and good. Same with the other side. And then you have your cockpit. That opens up all the way out to give you a really good purchase. We will have a look at the figures in just a sec. I'll seat them in there and show you how it goes. The wings are quite a bit thinner than the Action Fleet. And, Hasbro Titanium Series gunships. We'll compare in a sec. But these look really good. That's how they look in the movie. There's a lot of things about this that are surprisingly movie accurate, except for one glaring issue, but we'll go over that in a sec. The wings have the rotatable ball turrets. They are set at an angle so that when they face forward, they're facing the right direction, and they rotate along the wing, just like that. It's cool that they do rotate. Mine's a little loose on this edge over here, and they're not lined up too well. You can see they're a little off, but of all the issues to have, that's not too bad. And then up top, you have the little missile compartment. Let me see if I can grab a tool real quick to use, because it's a little difficult. See, yeah, I found it's extremely difficult. That's a big problem with this thing I've been having, is they give you tabs to open certain features with, but the tabs aren't super helpful because they just kind of go upward. They don't come over to give your nail something to grab onto. So I have to use tools to open things like the side doors and then the top compartment. Not too big an issue. It just means that you got to carry a pen or something around with you. Here's a look at the missile compartment. They don't move or anything. It's just awesome missile detail. There's a shot in Attack of the Clones where the gunship is, coming up towards the camera, and you can see the little swivel gun. We'll have a look at that. Swivels in all directions like that. I have a feeling that if you move this too much, it'll become loose over time, and it'll just kind of shake around, but mine's been doing a good job. It's held up so far. There's your missile compartment. And if you don't want it, you just slot that piece back in. There you go, it's hidden. This whole gunship is clearly based off of the concept version. If you've ever seen like the animatics for Attack of the Clones, this looks exactly like it. It has these horizontal caps on the end of the engines. It has the covered missiles. And it has the long guns up top. So it looks like one of the artists, when they were modeling it, maybe used, you know, animatics or concept art as inspiration for this specific sculpt. Everything else is exactly right. It's just the guns and this area up top. To the back, you can see there. I believe these are the engines. If you want to have a look at that detail there, you can see the wash kind of pooled. Now it does look dirty, and we're on Geonosis. It's very dirty and sandy. This is one of the few applications of the brown wash that I think works. You can see it's kind of piled up there. A little bit of paint made its way onto the wing there. We'll go ahead and have a look at the back door. This is one of the few doors that you can actually open with your hand, and you can see I've put one of the blind box Scout Trooper speeder bikes on that little peg there, because they give you room to mount one. You just kind of put it on there and it stays. That is an awesome addition, so you can do a little deployment thing. Works very well. Very happy with that. Then we'll just close it up. And then of course the main attraction is the doors. Give myself a little help here with my trusty kitchen knife, because I can't use my nails. These are the same sort of tabs that I was telling you about, where there's no real hook. They're just flat. I mean, if you have long enough nails, I don't, but if you have long enough nails, you can get them in that little corner there, but it's not, it doesn't really do me much good. I need a tool to help me open them. But these doors, of course, open just like the movie. You can just pull them back like that. And there's not, they kind of covered up the open space that it's supposed to have there, but I think that's so they could fit the feature, the little, you know, opening door feature in there. We'll compare it with the Action Fleet version in a sec. You do the same with this one, and they both open like that. And this is actually one of the rare gunship toys that actually can have the oscillating doors, like you can see in Attack of the Clones. They don't just open and close. If you watch the behind the scenes, they actually wanted them to act as air brakes. And so you can actually use these and kind of move them like the gunships do in the movies, if you pay attention. So that's pretty awesome. But it also means that it's very easy for the doors to kind of fall out of place if you touch them. Like me just moving them there made them go, you know, shift back. Moving it like that makes it shift forward. So you got to be kind of careful with them if you want them to stay in place. But that's how they would work. And there's a look at the little troop clamps for your soldiers. I've already got 2 clones in there from blind boxes. These didn't come with it. The only ones that come with it are the 2 that we'll have a look at in a sec. But you just kind of work them in there, and these clamps do a really good job of keeping the figures in there. You can shake it around, do whatever you want with it, and they are not going anywhere. That is a great feature, and I'm very, very happy that they decided to include it. I think that's awesome. And that's really it for the features on the gunship. No landing gear or anything like that, because these don't have landing gear. They just land right on the bottom. They give you a look at the guns, I guess. Like I was saying, it's based on the animatic and concept version, so they're a little too long. The actual gun should be about yay long, thereabouts. If you really wanted to, you could just snip them off and then take this section off, and you'd have a more movie-accurate version of the gunship. Let's have a look at the figures real quick. This is the pilot. Not a ton of paint on these. I guess they figured they could get away with just having them be white. But they got the backs of the knees, so there you go. We're saved. It's an alright amount of detail on the helmet. They just seem a little lackluster in comparison to like the Jango Fett and the Boba Fett. This is another one that came with it. Same mold as the other guys. These are phase 1s, of course, because this is meant to be a Geonosis gunship. And then if you'd like to slot in your pilot, you just kind of sit him in there. Very simply. Very easily. Well, the second one, we'll worry about him in a sec. And then onto the insert that the set comes with. depicting some combat with AATs, and there's your ATRTs with, looks like Phase 1 clone troopers. Pretty cool art. Definitely glad they include these inserts if you wish to display your gunship. And then we'll do a quick look over the box. Series 2, they ditched the launch edition sticker. No longer on there. There's your art for the gunship. What kind of confuses me is that it was said before the line came out that all the toys are the art, like the renders that they use are the 3D models that they use for the toys. And it looks like maybe that it's been altered somewhat because these guns are different. Of course, these are thinner and these are thinner. So it's not the exact same thing. It's just odd to me that the art would have the correct length guns like that, and then the actual toy would have them look like that. There's your features with the rotating guns. The missile... Oh, it looks like... yeah, I forgot to mention that the actual gunship is too big to fit in the box. So when you see it in stores, this wing is detached, and it's actually in the bottom. And this is just telling you that you can snap it on, just like that. There's the missile cap. And there's your upcoming. Stay tuned for these. I'll definitely pick these up whenever they do release. Absolutely this one. I'm excited for the first DAC Router figure at this scale that I'll ever own. Very excited for that. On to the comparison with the Action Fleet gunship. Let me move the... Okay, there we go. Definitely a lot bigger on the microgalaxy scale. You can see the laser turrets are absolutely huge, but the gunship itself is definitely quite a bit bigger. Let me give you a look there. Yeah, there's them side by side. I'm having trouble fitting them in the frame. You can see these doors like to go all over the place. It's a little different with the Action Fleet version. It actually has two little grippers for the wings that keep them from moving all over the place. So they do a better job staying where you put them. But it means that you can't have the doors, you know, sort of oscillate like they do in the movie, and these are really loose. That's another thing to say about the Microgalaxy one. This feels extremely sturdy and well built. It feels like a toy that you could, you know, fly around if you were a kid, maybe, I don't know about drop. You couldn't drop it from 6 feet, but it feels a lot sturdier than the Action Fleet version's made. This one's made of more brittle, thin plastic. You can see up there how thin the plastic is. So if you want one that feels a lot more like a toy, you would definitely go for the Microgalaxy Squadron one. And this one actually has accommodations for figures and all that stuff. But that's really it to go over with the gunship. Stay tuned for the rest of Series 2. I'll pick them up whenever I get the chance. And I recently noticed that we hit 100 subs. And I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. Get to come loose. Yeah, that's why. Just take a little knife. Pry it up like that. Just went on the floor. And then you can see your little missile compartment. There's a shot in Attack of the Clones. Looks something like this, where it's, you know, getting ready to fly off, and you can see the missiles loading themselves. Let me pick up that